Friendo, Steve here.
Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we've got your review from last night's AEW Dynamite, on the road to the last stop on Dynamite, anyways, if you will. The AEW's All in Wembley. A lot going down last night. Everybody basically making the case for their matches at All In. Should be a fun show. We're going to be doing our live watch along of that this weekend, Sunday morning, Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Confirmed, yes.
1 p.m. I'm almost positive that's confirmed. If y'all in the chat want to correct us on that, feel free, because we're often wrong here at Going in Raw. It's kind of
all the time.
The Going in Raw way, Larson. Larson, can I get some validation really quick? Can you look at the new banner? Look, Larson, banner.
Oh, hold on, because I don't have my tab muted, so you might hear YouTube audio here on the Twitch stream if I do.
Oh my God, never mind. Don't worry about it then.
I'll do it when we're done.
I'll send you a picture of it.
Yeah, do that, and I'll give you the validation you so desperately crave.
The thing that I like about it is, like, right above your head, and this was completely coincidental, it's Phil. It's your bestie. It's your favorite wrestler.
I have no issue with Phil.
I know. That's why I put him there, completely coincidentally. So anyways, yeah, we're going to talk about that. But first, Larson, there's one thing that I think every wrestler should do when they're out of character. It's to tell fans to fuck off. So why don't we talk about
That doesn't seem like a wise move, does it?
Talk about Chris Jericho. Well, I don't know. When you're Chris Jericho, you're already making really big money. You can kind of do whatever you want. But what are we talking about here? What are we talking about?
Chris Jericho's been making the media rounds in advance of All In this week in interviews with, in this case, Daily Star, TV Insider. I think I saw an in-set interview he did or on-set interview.
That all sounds so fake. TV Insider, InStar, what was it?
Daily Star.
Daily. Oh, I know. I've heard of them.
Yeah. Anyway, so in this particular interview with Daily Star, Chris Jericho responded to a question regarding the "Please Retire" chant he's been getting during appearances on AEW programming. This is his answer. These transcripts come to you from Wrestle Talk. Jericho said the following, quote, "To me, when the "Please Retire" chants were going, I was laughing because I have zero intentions of that. He's got a six-pack. And I can do a moonsault, and I know exactly what I'm doing in the ring. I know how to write storylines. I like the company I work for. I like my boss. I like the guys and girls in the company. Why would I want to retire? What's the point? Just because somebody told me to? Like, fuck off. You retire when you know it's time, when you know it's right, and it's not the right time right now. It's not. I say it all the time. As long as I know I can still have the best match of the night, not every night, but I can still do it, I'm going to stay. And as long as I can still continue to have good ideas and feel motivated and passionate, I'm going to stay. God willing, I physically don't have any issues, and I don't, which is amazing after 33 years. And I think that's another reason why people are mad, because I've never had to take an extended time off for that. So what's the hassle? It's the epitome of age is just a number. If you saw me walk down the street, I don't think many people would go, that guy's 53 years old. I don't. Some might. But show business is part of it too. You have to look the part. And I still look like Chris Jericho and act like Chris Jericho and work like Chris Jericho. So until that moment where I feel like, okay, this needs to stop, I've got no intentions of that.
What are your thoughts, Larson?
You know, I'm of two minds. I don't really care to see Chris Jericho. Personally, I don't really care to see Chris Jericho on my television right now.
Sure.
I don't really particularly care for the work he's been doing over the last, I don't know, year or two. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
I understand that he's given 33 years of his life and he's given his body to this business. And given the stature he has attained in this business, pro wrestling, who am I, Larson, who's never set foot in a wrestling ring to actually wrestle? I've never taken a bump, nary a bump from this guy.
Yet.
Never going to happen. At now just turning 57 years old recently. I think the time for me to take bumps is long past.
Or just coming up.
Probably not, but who knows? I have to separate my feelings about his work now from the idea that I can dictate when he can step away from doing something he actually obviously still really enjoys.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And the thing is, if he was doing work that people really liked, there wouldn't be "Please Retire" chants. I think that's really the issue, is what he's been doing late just isn't working for most people.
You know, dude, you're right. Number one, and this isn't even playing devil's advocate, but if you put yourself in his shoes for a second, he's kind of justified in telling people to fuck off for chanting that, because it is incredibly rude. Please retire. That's kind of messed up. It is Chris Jericho. It wasn't only until about 2 years ago that people started to turn on the guy. If you remember correctly, and I'm going to get kind of serious-ish here, and I'm going to try to be a bit on the, delicate side. I'll say that. If you remember, the genesis of those please retire chants felt like it had more to do with some rumors on Twitter that had to do with some incident or conduct backstage that in the end was unsubstantiated.
Yep.
The general audience, the general population of wrestling fans don't know, if anything, where that came from. There are ideas and rumors and thoughts out there about all that stuff, but to say it would be irresponsible to straight up be like, oh, this is what he did, would be completely irresponsible. And but because I feel like, and again, this isn't a knock, it's just a fact, I do think that AEW fans in general are more tuned into what's going on social media. So they were more, there was a period of time because of this, they would not put him in the arena on TV. It's why they stopped playing, at least I believe it's why they stopped playing Judas. Because the expectation was people would sing along. Well, that had to stop because people were not going to be singing along to that at that point. I do think that situation kind of lit the fire under something that was already brewing, which was his shtick had gotten stale.
Yeah.
And there was legitimately frustration towards a pattern with Jericho's stories, these stories that he's talking about crafting.
Yeah. And the idea now that he's trying to poke fun at with the Jericho Vortex stuff.
We'll get to that in a second, but you're right. Yeah. The Jericho Vortex, the Learning Tree is a direct result of that clash between the fan frustration of this dude gets into a feud with a young guy. And the biggest example of this is Ricky Starks, where this feud was like oddly told. The story was sort of bizarrely paced and planned out, and nobody gets anything from being in a program with Chris Jericho. Dave Meltzer months ago had said, this guy's getting paid a lot of money. He should be used in a more high profile way where he's protected more. And I don't know about that simply because it ain't 2019 anymore. And the idea of Chris Jericho, this big name, former world champion in the business now for 33 years, well, he hasn't exactly found himself, or he hasn't exactly reinvented himself much at all. Oh, 1 week he's the Lionheart. What does that mean? Do his matches change at all? Not really.
No,
the Painmaker. Yeah. The Painmaker. Does anything really change there? I guess when he's in feuds that they might be like a death match, but that hasn't really even been the case with that.
No, he just has face paint. Yeah.
So him, and I honestly think that he's got good intentions going into these feuds with younger talent, because, we've seen, for example, with Action Andretti, he has a match with him. He puts Action Andretti over because he sees this guy's got talent. And it's not even necessarily up to Chris Jericho to then dictate what happens next with Action Andretti. And that was a case we used to make.
Yep.
That's up to Tony Khan to then take that and do something with it.
Exactly. That's been the problem with AEW for a long time, is sustaining momentum after moments like that.
Yeah. So I understand you've got this, attempt maybe on social media to perhaps cancel him based off of rumors and stories that are out there that really did not get substantiated in any like real way. And on top of that, you've got this and it sort of morphed into this perfect storm of just anti-Jericho sentiment. And that was the please retire chants. And he hasn't, and then to compound that, he starts this Learning Tree gimmick, which is just, you can tell the resentment is thick with him now with these fans. And And I don't know how that resolves itself. I don't know if he's going to, if there's a period of time where he is going to leave and make a big return like he used to in WWF, or how this is going to resolve itself, if it will. Maybe it'll take him going back to WWE. I don't know. But I understand from his perspective, he was the darling of wrestling fans for a very long time.
Yeah.
And so I understand, I get his perspective here after this long, something that was put out there. And again, whether or not stuff did happen, this story was true or not, I don't know. So I can't say that, but there's this sentiment that gets whipped up, and there's a part of it might have to do with the whole, where was your wife on January 6th stuff, because for some people that plays into a certain narrative as well, whether it's right or wrong, whether you agree or not. That's not the point. The point is that does play into how some people perceive wrestlers. So, where do they go from here? I understand this sentiment, like, goddamn, I gave 33 years of my life to you guys. And now based off of A, B, and C, you're telling me to retire. I get his point of view, but I also understand frustration from the fans from the very real thing of, bro, you got to give us something new.
Yeah.
And you got to give us something that's kind of inspired. And I'm sorry, but he might think his stories are good. They haven't been good in a little while.
No, they haven't. And he talked about that in this is a TV Insider interview. They asked him about working alongside Bill, Brian Keith. The question is, why do you think people out there see you as selfish and a spotlight hogger?
That was an actual question?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And Jericho says, I love using the Jericho Vortex as a positive thing. Not every single feud or story you tell in wrestling will work, but I'd say in AEW that 90% of the guys I've worked with and stories told have been pretty good. That goes back to day one. I think I worked with Darby Allin in week 3 without knowing who he was. Orange Cassidy, Jack Perry, Scorpio Sky, beyond that. Even Cody Rhodes. Cody was not who he was now. He was a guy who had been a journeyman and then became one of the top guys in AEW. He was earmarked to be, but I did a lot to put a spotlight on him. Same with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, Jon Moxley. Sorry, Jon Moxley was not Mox. It was still the remnants of Dean Ambrose when he came into AEW. We worked together, and he was on the road to where he is now, which is completely next level. MJF, we worked together for a year. Max became way better after working with me. Eddie Kingston, too. The Inner Circle, Jericho Appreciation Society, Danny Garcia.
Well, there's a little bit of exaggeration there.
You got that right.
There's a little bit of exaggeration.
I mean,
there.
another way to look at it is working with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Cody and Mox meant that Jericho could be relevant to a new generation of fans.
That's probably a more accurate way. Look, what do we say? We're just a couple of fans. But as a couple of fans, we pay attention to that kind of stuff. And yeah, I kind of feel like it did more for him than it did for them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You think Jericho didn't know kind of which way the wind was blowing?
Yeah.
In 2017, 2018?
Yeah.
Of course he did.
And hey, hats off to him for being one of the first big names to go to New Japan. Credit to him for understanding which way the winds were blowing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But let's be real here.
But let's think that, you made Cody Rhodes. You made Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page.
I mean, dude, I get it. Like, he was probably the biggest name.
I mean, him coming to AEW made the company legitimate. It did.
When we the very first time, and it's funny, I watched this and I was like, oh God, this is so, at some point, if we can get over the cringe factor, we got to go back and watch this again. Like for, a segment or something.
Yeah.
Where we react to the news that Chris Jericho and Jim Ross are starting a new promotion backed by the Shad Khan family.
I remember that we kind of looked back at that a bit, I think. And I remember you were like,
yeah, I completely poo-pooed it. But yeah, and then it happened. And then I think even when like the trademark All Elite Wrestling, I'm like, oh, this is a big troll.
Yeah, we're like, this has to be fake. Yeah.
They were doing the Being the Elite stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is a great troll right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I'm Jericho, like I said, I understand from his perspective. there obviously is a bit of a disconnect between his own narrative and what I kind of feel like really happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I from where he goes from here, obviously, I think there's a good chance he's going to lose that title, for the World Championship, back to Hook at Wembley.
Oh yeah.
And we'll see where Hook goes from there, if he benefits from this Jericho thing. But I don't
think is Hook back with the FTW title, and is that really going to elevate him up the card too much?
For somebody to benefit, the person that's giving him the rub has to be in a prominent spot, kind of not in a spot where people are tired of seeing them. That's kind of the problem, is that it kind of feeds into itself. It's like, kind of tired of seeing you. And so whoever they're feuding with, even if they get the win in the end, doesn't really help them all that much.
I know. I mean, I cracked that joke a while back that one of Jericho's greatest strength is knowing when to walk away. But I think back in his time at WWE, some of that was like, well, I want to go on tour with my band. So, that motivated him taking his leave sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, the schedule now in AEW, he doesn't have to do that. He can schedule his tours around appearances in AEW. And now I think Fozzie's playing at All In again this year.
Yeah, instead of leaving, he's just bringing Fozzy into AEW.
Bringing the tour with him, essentially.
Along, apparently, with the Costco guys.
Who are the Costco guys?
Okay, so from what I understand...
I've seen the name, but I have no idea who they are.
It's a family that does TikToks, I think, from Costco, and they just hype up the shit that's at Costco in a very corny, cheesy, but family-friendly way.
All right.
They seem the dad used to want to be like he was an indie wrestler for a short period of time, like 20 years ago. It's one of those things that'll come and go in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all the point that, again, they might be heels making good points, because Costco is kind of amazing. Not going to lie.
In a lot of respects, it is. It really is.
It really is.
It really is. So getting back to him walking away, when there was that kind of perfect storm of dissatisfaction with Jericho, it might have been a good time to step away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't, whatever, if it was resentment from his end, whatever, it just seemed like he was entrenched in his position that, no, I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere because of what's going on.
And who knows, like, so much of his stories, of his, attempts at reinvention in AEW, and I say attempts, they've all kind of tracked the same thing. Like when the Jericho Appreciation Society was a play on the old Vince McMahon sports entertainment thing. And then, like, moments after that started, Vince McMahon was out of the company and Triple H took over, and they got rid of, or they're trying to get rid of, the term sports entertainment to a degree, letting people say wrestler. And so that was kind of rendered moot, like, immediately.
Yeah.
And there was, along the way, there's always been some good stuff, but it always seems to be that, like, a very literal attempt to mock something or take a shot at the competition or whatever. And it never really seems like, okay, you're doing something that actually is inspired. Like back when he was doing the Anton Chigurh thing. It's like, oh, you're going to a Coen Brothers movie to find inspiration for a villain. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there hasn't really been any of that with
so much of his reinventions feel reactionary.
They do. Yeah. That's a great word.
As opposed to, I've found inspiration from somewhere to do something different. Oh, this happened? Like the learning tree stuff is a response to the resentment or the dissatisfaction of the fans. Plus, I feel like it's a shot at CM Punk. The whole, I'm here to give advice to the younger talent.
Yeah, right.
Like that was what, 3 years ago almost.
Well, and he even
2 years ago. Sorry, 2 years ago almost.
It's even reactionary, like in real time. There was that Cody quote that Jericho directly referenced, like on the next day on Dynamite.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, it's maybe, a bit of the CM Punk thing, guys who think they're locker room leaders, giving unwanted advice, which is probably something that historically has always been a thing in wrestling. And maybe, maybe CM Punk was sort of the inciting incident, if you will. The situation there with him was the inciting incident for that as well. But yeah, regardless what the motivation is, it's not the most inspired stuff. It's not like, hey, let me come up with something fresh and original, not just let's address stuff that's going on wrestling Twitter or Reddit or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
So
totally.
Yeah, we'll see.
Let's talk about move on to Dynamite, because I feel like there's the way the show was laid out, it could or could not give us an indication if Bryan Danielson's be winning the main event of All In. So
yeah, the picture is muddied now, man.
Well, here's the thing. Every segment that preceded the Danielson one, the go-home math was pretty obvious. The contract signing, Britt stood tall because Mercedes is winning. Here, I'll literally go through the rundown of the show, because that's one thing I noticed last night. You had Jericho standing tall because Bill hit Hook with a choke slam. Hook's going over.
Yep.
Mariah came in and blasted Toni Storm with the shoe to close after her match against Saraya. It's like Toni Storm might be winning it.
Possibility.
You had MJF stand tall because Ospreay's totally winning it All In.
Yeah, that's the most obvious one.
And then the Darby and FTR beating the Elite because Jack Perry and the Young Bucks are going to retain it All In. And so you have Bryan Danielson at the end of the show wearing a shirt similar to the one he wore when he announced his retirement in WWE.
Yeah.
Stand tall and give his really impassioned promo to end the show, which makes you think go home math favors Swerve. But it seems like so much of what they're doing with this Danielson Swerve story is these are the expectations, these are the tropes usually employed for a match like this. And they're hitting us with every single one of those tropes. And I can't help but feel like they're doing that to set us up and then subvert said tropes.
Okay.
I mean, something could happen on Collision on Saturday that renders all this moot. They could address all these go-home segments in a way on Collision that completely flips the script on all this. Entirely possible.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I mean, if we break it down beat by beat,
down.
Britt Baker, for example, break it down. Takes the microphone to Camille's head, right? Says, I can't beat you, but I can take out her because she's annoying me. She lumps her over the head and then does a crossbody onto her, who's on to Mercedes. So we get it. Camille's going to cost Britt Baker that match. Britt seems like she doesn't want to be there. She like that whole thing. I don't know. Maybe it's suspension. Maybe not. Maybe it's just good character work. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. But there's that. The Ospreay MJF one is, I think, it's just making people want to see MJF get his ass beat. They're pretty good at that because he's a good bad guy. And I think that segment was probably 5 minutes too long because they took a couple different detours along the way. In the end, I like the hey, I'm going to, get with your wife and get, your kid's going to be my kid or whatever. That was so I don't know. I get it. You needed something to motivate Will Ospreay, the physicality. I get that. How much is the fine? It's worth it. I like that. That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It did take some weird detours along the way, and I thought that the segment was really good. They got good chemistry as promo guys.
Yeah.
The Jericho one's pretty obvious. The Danielson one does stand out though, and the Mariah May one kind of stands out too. And I wonder if, because you and I on the predictions episode, which is available right now at Friendo Club Wrestling, mentioned that the All About Eve thing, Mariah following suit with that story should get the win at Wembley.
That's the plan, yeah. Yeah.
And I think it still could work with this go home if they're looking at this from a long standpoint. It's like Mariah gets the better of Toni with the shoe, the thing, right? It's the thing. It's the MacGuffin. And she wins at Wembley. But the go-home kind of extends longer than that because then you've got, what's probably Toni is going to be the new Eve, not in necessarily like she's going to be my mentor now. But, maybe she'll come back as old Toni Storm. Maybe it'll be some sort of conglomeration of Toni and Toni. I don't know.
You said conglomeration.
It's a conglomeration.
The word of the day.
But yeah, the Danielson one is interesting because Swerve was kind of healing it up in that interview. Kind of old Swerve. And Danielson comes out and gives this really impassioned, emotional yes thing.
Yeah.
Wearing that shirt. Are we going to get a double turn now there? Where Swerve goes back to being a face after this one feud of being kind of a heel. And Danielson
can't take
goes
it off
bad.
the table.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I mean, it just the way the show was structured just made it seem like, all right, we're going to hammer home in every preceding segment. Go home math favors this person. With the thought that I think in a lot of people's mind that most of them are actually going to win it all in.
Mm-hmm.
See this. Oh, wow. Danielson's got to take this L then.
Mm-hmm.
He's standing tall. He hits the knee plus. He has this impassioned babyface promo. He's doing the yes chants.
If anybody is in a position to subvert that trope, it's him with this match.
Yeah. And like I said during the predictions thing, what happened when Danielson won the title last? WWE, he turned heel during the match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, he did some of the best work of his career after that. The Planet Champion stuff was amazing.
Which, hey, might be in line with that. Not that literal again, but with something along those lines.
Yeah.
Just bad Danielson. You know?
Yeah. So, you know, if he turns heel, at this point, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't shock me. It would make a lot of sense. Going back to that segment where he had that, even like last night, he had the white T-shirt on underneath his flannel.
Mm-hmm.
But there was that one segment with Swerve where, like, basically the entirety of Danielson's run, unless he's wearing a Blackpool Combat Club shirt, he's got the white T-shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the shirt choice from last night, these details matter to Bryan Danielson. What he wears, they mean something.
What does the retirement shirt tell you then?
So again, it's about setting expectations and potentially subverting those expectations. The wearing a shirt that looked like the one that he wore when he had to retire is a nod to that moment where he had to retire. This could be it. But then I think with him, that's a setup. What did he say? I love to lie. I learned to lie from Cody.
Yeah.
You know, and so much of the build to this, you know, him more or less saying, I'm ready to retire. I'm ready to be done. You know, and Swerve mentioned that last night. It feels like they're setting up expectations only to pull the rug out from under you and subvert a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Could not be. It could be a thing where Swerve goes over clean.
Yeah, but the shirt is so obvious. It's so literal.
I know.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting. I think my confidence is dropping a little bit, and I don't know that it should, because the bottom line is this press tour has been so schmaltzy. It's been so emotional, and this guy loves to lie, and he loves to fuck with people, and that's the thing about Danielson, is that you know that he's the type of guy who either would love to just absolutely turn everything on its head, go on this tour where he's talking about my kid wants me to retire. She wants me to lose so that I have to come and play with her. At the same time, I could see him being the guy who's actually kind of I don't know. I don't think he's much of a sentimentalist. I think he just likes to fuck with people.
He doesn't seem like based on, and like, we don't know the guy. We don't. But based on how he presents himself on TV in public in interviews, no, he doesn't seem like a terribly sentimental dude. No.
He doesn't. He seems like he likes to have fun in pro wrestling. Like, I've never seen somebody have more fun. Like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much of it would be a lie. Is the I got to get neck surgery pretty soon a lie? I don't know. I don't know.
No clue.
It could be a situation where it's just like, hey, you know what? We're going to do this until October. I'll drop the title, go on a really good run. I saw some tweet about, you know, the idea that Tony Khan would want Tony Khan cares about who's in the legacy, who's in the title lineage. Yeah. In AEW, and Danielson is like the top name that you'd want to have in there. And yeah, it's kind of, as much as I love Swerve, you can't tell me that Danielson winning coming out of Wembley wouldn't draw more eyeballs to the product over even a short period of time leading into, All Out and then, then Wrestle Dream.
I saw this on social media too with the if the idea is Danielson wins and essentially it's every match could be his last match. You could have the same idea that he's going to retire after this match at All In if he loses with every match he has going forward.
Yeah.
If the whole idea is I'm best wrestler in the world, I just proved it. I have this title now. I dare somebody to come beat me for it, and if you're up to the task of doing it, I will quit.
Yeah.
From a marketing perspective, so long as they don't, drag it out too long, that could generate some interest in that storyline. Sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that it could be a good kick in the pants, which just comes back to the idea that Danielson's probably going to win at All In. And on top of that, Swerve laid out a really good promo for his own accomplishments. You can't complain about my title run. Look at who I beat. Look at what I've done.
The list of names that he's defeated on the way to becoming champion and after becoming champion is pretty impressive.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing, dude, I was thinking about this last night because I was like, I could see Swerve losing, is what do you do afterwards with him? What do you do afterwards with him? Same as like they've been able to keep, I know he went away for a while because of injury. But as soon as he came back, MJF, very relevant with this thing with Ospreay. It's one of the top feuds that they have right now. How do they keep that momentum with Swerve going if he does end up losing to Danielson? He's got to be one of those guys who's perpetually at the top of the card.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a potentially very interesting story that could take place if Hangman, he's in the Casino Gauntlet match. He's probably going to win it. If he wins it to open or towards the beginning of the show and he's like, yes, I get my title match against Swerve. That's what he wants. But then Swerve loses to Danielson. So Paige has to wrestle Danielson for the title, not Swerve.
Yeah.
Like, that's good stuff for Hangman. There's good stuff for for Swerve, for Danielson, for Hangman potentially coming out of this, with Hangman being number one contender, Danielson is champ, and Swerve kind of being caught in the middle of all that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There's some potentially good stuff they could do story-wise. And you got Darby. He's got a title shot at Grand Slam because he won that Rampage Battle Royal. And I think Meltzer said something like there's talk about giving him a title run.
That Seattle show could be pretty damn interesting.
Yeah.
Because you could do Swerve, Danielson, Darby as a triple threat.
Do it at Wrestle Dream.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, is that in Seattle? Yeah, it's in Seattle, right?
Yeah. It's in Seattle area.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That would be the atmosphere for that.
The
they should do that at one of them small venues.
Oh, like where Defy has their show?
Yeah. Where Defy has their show. Could you imagine like the decibels in that little tiny place? Oh my man. God. I wouldn't, but still, that'd be pretty awesome. They're like, yeah, let's do this in front of 1,000 people.
There you go.
That'd be so stupid.
A monumental event in the wrestling history, Pacific Northwest.
Do it in a bar. Do it in a bar somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I would love them to do? You know what I absolutely love them to do for this main event at Wembley? Overbook the living shit out of it. Hey, they never overbook stuff anymore. Not big main events.
Yeah, but if Danielson turns heel, imagine if he aligns with the Elite.
Yeah,
you'd have to overbook the heck out of it then.
Just everybody comes down.
Then you get Swerve feuding with either Jack Perry or Okada. I know the Elite ain't doing a whole lot these days. That's terribly interesting. But for a stretch there, that was the A story in AEW. And if they're just on TV doing nefarious stuff to people, that can be the A story yet again.
Zondo says last year's main event was incredibly overbooked. MJF versus Adam Cole. Were there like a ton of people that came down for that one?
I honestly don't remember.
I don't remember. It was 29 minutes. It probably was.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like bloodline levels. Like Undertaker shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
John Cena shows
Mark
up.
Calloway is all Elite. That's what you want to see?
Yeah. Yes, it is actually.
Mean Mark Callis is
Mean
all
Mark
Elite.
Callis. Yeah. What's Mean Mark Callis doing here? He shouldn't be there. Yeah, man.
Bearfish here mentioned Shane. I don't know if Shane's going to show up.
If Shane, somebody here in our chat mentioned that if Shane helps Danielson, Oh, I would pop so hard. This new banner up here, everybody would be turned.
Shane.
It'd all be AEW. It'd be you guys want it to be all AEW all the time.
And it wouldn't just be all AEW, it'd be all Shane and AEW.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of best in the world going on there. The hands up like this. What was that dude? The Greg Hamilton on the mic. Best in the world. He's getting bullied by Shane.
Yeah.
No,
So you sent me the overlay. It looks great. Mr. Dope sent it to me like before right as we started the show. I was just waiting for a moment so I could say it looks good.
Yeah, well, we got over on the side. I got the biggest shot of Jey Uso saying "yeet" in the corner there,
and you got Phil yelling right above my head.
Yeah. That
and
again,
Swerve's yelling
I was
right
not
above
thinking.
my head. Why is everybody yelling on my side?
Dude, they're like, wake up, come on, let's do this. And it's all the anger and resentment. I don't know. Honestly, it was like, I got to fill some space here. So I just put them above you. I didn't even think about where you were, to be honest with you. But I got you got the side of the tribal chief over there.
Put your ones up for tribal chief.
Yeah, Roman Reigns right there. Look at my side. Mercedes, Liv, and Rhea. Oh, man. It's a good-looking side over here. Anyways, you want to actually talk about AEW Dynamite?
We should.
Dude, I can't, man. Let's see how much transcribing you did. Oh, dude, you did way too much transcribing.
I did. Here's the thing. I know I said last night I had to watch it this morning, try to speed watch it somewhat, and the notes were going to be kind of bare bones. Started earlier than I thought, and I was like, I'm just going to write as much as I can in real time. And that's what that's. Some days I can type fast, some days I can't. Today, guess I could type fast. So I got more than I thought I was going to get.
Zondo said it was Roddy and the belt and the drama. Should I do it or should I not? And crying and hugging and I love you was like 5 minutes of no fighting. That's not overbooked. That's just story. That's just character beats.
Yeah, overbooked is like interference on top of interference on top of interference.
People just the whole roster coming down.
The lights have to go down at least 3 times.
The great thing is nobody likes Swerve, like in kayfabe. And so, like, nobody would be on his side. They'd be like, oh, man, here's the Elite. What are they doing here? Oh, here's Hangman. We know he doesn't like Swerve.
Yeah. Before we get to the breakdown of Dynamite, though, I got a favor to ask the friendos. We need engagement here on this here video.
Yeah.
Talking likes. Smash that like button, please. We're talking comments.
Yes.
So, if you could, in the comment section, leave a comment. What's your scenario, Bryan Danielson or Swerve Strickland winning this title at All In the main event?
What does the shirt mean? Let us know.
Yes. What do you think
Danielson's
plaid shirt means? Does it mean that he didn't do laundry before making the trip over to the United Kingdom? So he had to go to the back of the closet, and lo and behold, there's a flannel that looks almost exactly like the one where he retired.
Yeah.
Speculate. Give your takes. Who wins the main event at All In? How do they do it? Perhaps the most important thing. Also, smash that like button. Want to get more than 200 likes before we're done with this here stream. And whether you're watching VOD live, hit the like button. Leaving comments. It all helps this channel. It all helps the video get out in front of more eyeballs. I don't really understand this YouTube algorithm. I'm not a smart man. However, I know that engagement helps. So please help the channel. Help us. Engagement. Thank you so much.
Also, we've got bonus episodes, question threads, and we've got this huge Big Blue Predictions Challenge coming up, starting at Wembley All In, going into Bash in Berlin, and then heading into All Out for the final event of the Big 3 event, Big Blue Predictions Challenge. The current champion, Joey Bishop, is putting that title up on the line. You can get in on this. Show us yours is superior. Your prediction skills are best by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson, clicking on the Friendo Club setup, or clicking join right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. It's $5 a month. It's a great way to help support Going In Raw, and we'd really, really appreciate it. You get the whole backlog of bonus episodes, and also whatever we got coming up in that situation. We got to really find some time.
We should probably just re-record that last Friendo cast. It's been so long.
Yeah, we got to do that, but then we also got the new thing that we got to do too.
Yeah, I know. Let's get through this 3-week period of pay-per-views, and then we can address that.
Yeah, there you go.
Things settle down. Like there's not much going on in the month of September after All Out. So
a lot going on. There's that. There's also over on the Patreon, we've got more tiers there, including the $20 Friendo Club Care Package tier. You get the Friendo Club comic book here, the Going In Raw comic book. It's full color Adventures of Steve and Larson right here. You can check that out. At the $50 tier, you get this exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Can't get anywhere else. It's right there. This
Look at
one
that.
has
Vivid
some dog
colors.
hair on it. This one's got some dog hair on it because Gypsy was around it. But the other ones are up there, far out of the reach of my dog. So check all that stuff out.
Yes, please. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's get after it.
All right, so it started with the Mercedes Mone Britt Baker contract signing. This is kind of just like not really new stuff. Mercedes talks about how she was like a pioneer. Britt's like, you were one of four, I was one of one. She said it's just shit talk. And then they sign the contracts, and she says, and the whole thing is like, oh, we're not allowed to touch each other. But that doesn't preclude Britt Baker from being able to touch Camille, which she did on the head with a microphone and a lot of force behind it. And then she cross-bodied onto Camille, who was on a chair sitting on Mercedes Mone. So she was able to get a very clever way in to do that. And then Britt holds up the TBS title, ensuring that it's not going to be that Britt show. It's going to remain that Banks Sasha.
There you go. So you're going to up your confidence point on Mercedes winning this match.
Yeah, I gotta look at this Dynamite again and change all my confidence points now.
Then we had a Chris Jericho interview. So Renee asked him about his thoughts ahead of his match against Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billington. And so Jericho says, something's been bothering me on my way to Cardiff, England. I got a reaction from the crowd.
Yeah, I don't like when people are like, oh, England, Wales, Scotland, they're all the same. Oh, they don't like that.
Yeah, they don't like that. They don't like it at all. So he questions whether Tommy Billington should call himself the Dynamite Kid. He asks, are you as fast, as good, as angry, and as mean as the original Dynamite Kid? Even though Dynamite Kid is Tommy Billington's uncle. Says, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't earned the right to be on Dynamite. Are you as good as the original Dynamite Kid? I don't think so. And Hook, watch what I do tonight, because I'm going to do sevenfold to you at Wembley Stadium. That match was next. Not a huge surprise here. Jericho gets the win. It was a good showing for Tommy Billington, though.
Yeah, man, that guy's a heck of a wrestler.
He is. And maybe, just maybe, if he hadn't taken his eye off Jericho, so he gets Jericho with the tombstone, then goes up top, you think he's going to go for the diving headbutt on Jericho. No, he takes out Brian Keith on the floor.
Bad move.
Sends Bill into the barricade, and then goes back up top, ends up jumping right into a code breaker. He loses, Jericho covers, gets the win. So Jericho grabs the mic, says, Hook, you stupid bastard. I hope you were watching because I'm going to do the same to you at All In. If you were here right now, I'd rip you apart branch by branch by branch. So, of course, send Hook. Hook makes his way to the ring, and then Bill blasts him behind, hits him with a huge choke slam. Go home, math favors. Hook.
Man, that choke slam, that was something else.
Huge.
That was ridiculous. I was like, dude, you got Wembley coming up in a couple days here.
I know. We always hear that choke slam's a rough bump to take.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, it's kind of, that's like Captain Obvious stuff right there. Because you're going up from so high up in the air if you got like a big Bill type situation.
Yeah, and there's so little control you have over your
You're just falling.
descent, especially if you jump super high.
Who did the one where like they basically just hold him and then they just bring him down?
I mean, Scott Hall was kind of like that.
Yeah, Scott Hall kind of did. I'm thinking of somebody big. Somebody big did that.
Sid?
Where they hold him. Maybe. They hold their back. I don't know. Kevin Nash just sort of lifted it. Kevin Nash did like the, what was that, Jelly Roll guy. They just let other people do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Powerbomb too. You just throw them up and let them fall.
Yeah. Sid used to, for the power bombs, not when he first started doing it, because he did it with a lot of torque, but like in WWF, when he got there, he'd bring someone else for a power bomb, sometime put their hand on their back and kind of guide them down.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I'm confusing the two. I don't know.
Sid used to do that.
Anyways, after that, we had Toni Storm versus Saraya. You think Saraya's heading to WWF? What is this shit? She's a tune-up match for Toni Storm?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's going on with that? Man, remember, like, it was a year ago. She won the title at Wembley.
At All In, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had it for like a couple weeks until Shido beat her for it.
Yeah.
She didn't have it for very long.
No, she didn't. And now she's just on, like, Rampage a lot, apparently.
Yeah.
Do you think that's because of her name? They're like, oh, you're Paige. You're going to be on Rampage.
That was
like,
one of her moves in WWE was the Rampage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true, yeah. And the Page Turner or something like that.
Yeah, that was the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, she takes
Page Tap Out was the other one. PTO.
The PTO. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but
yeah, submission move.
So she took the loss here against Toni Storm.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She did.
Storm Zero got the job done here for Toni. They did a little shout out to the world of sport.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Hey,
you think we could have
cool.
done that? Like really slowly?
Maybe.
If we choreographed it enough?
Yeah, we had to practice a bunch.
Well, yeah, we can't go into it cold.
No. How long? Like, give me 2 hours of practice, and I think we.
Yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours? That's it. Wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like 2 weeks.
2 hours, just that sequence, over and over and over and over and over again. So Tony gets the win. The Mariah May comes to the ring and blasts her with the shoe while Tony's celebrating the victory. And the Mariah cradles Tony's head in her arms, and then.
So let me ask you.
What?
Does this change the math for you? Are you going to change your prediction on this?
I gotta see what happens on Collision and Rampage too.
Nothing's going to happen there, man.
Probably
Collision,
not.
I think they're going to determine who's going to be the other team in that triple.
And Top Flight's in the match.
Yeah, but I feel like the Pac team is going to win.
It's Pac and Wheeler.
Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah,
It is weird.
There's a put together team, Steve.
Pac's got to be at Wembley though, unless he's going to get him into that gauntlet match.
That's what I thought he'd be in the Casino Gauntlet match.
Busted's going to be in the casino.
So I had Mariah May with 4. At the least, I'm going to lower that confidence point value.
Mm-hmm. Everybody in our various chats is saying that Fightful's reporting that Ricochet signed a multi-year with AEW.
Yeah, he'll probably be in the Gauntlet match.
Congratulations, Trevor, Ricochet man.
Yeah, congratulations, Trevor, Ricochet man. So we have an interview with the conglomeration. Willow Nightingale's there as well. Renee, rather than asking the question, just says, all right, Mark, get after it. And so he says the word of the day is deliberation. They've deliberated that Willow and Ishii are going to deliver a kick-ass tag match at All In. Himself and Orange, they're going to be the Casino ladder match. Kyle O'Reilly talks some in a British accent.
He did that before mocking Pete Dunne in NXT.
Yeah, he did.
He likes busting out the British accent.
He does. And then Mark just starts talking about having a match against the Kingdom on Collision, I think it was.
Kingdom.
And that was kind of it.
Ego. After that. By the way, earlier some people were asking about NXT review. Larson only watched the first half. Yeah. So it was his birthday, also the anniversary of my dad's death. So if y'all think I'm doing that shit on that day, you got another thing coming. So no NXT review this week. Ego.
We'll get back to it next week.
Yeah. After that, we had this really long Will Ospreay MJF face-to-face. And I appreciate that they memorized all their stuff because this was really long. And I like the performances. I do. It's just really long.
It is really long. And like Ospreay maybe had the best line of the whole thing, saying it took you 4 years to win over the AEW audience. It took 4 beats of my music. Gosh, that's good.
Yeah, that is good. And I also like that MJF kind of sold his character's true motivation, which is just jealousy. You know, he said the people loved me, and then you showed up and you took all that away. And he realized that he overstepped, that he was like, oh, crap, I just sort of showed my hand there. Real reason, if you will.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that a lot, too. It was just really long.
It was. So after MJF said that, they used to love me until you showed up and ruined it, he says, you know what? Well, you're right. I could never be like you. You're a role model to the fans. You're a great husband, father, pro wrestler in every way. I fell short of being the face of AEW, but you've done it. However, before the show tonight, I got to spend a little time with your wife and that so-called kid of yours. He says, you know, I'm trying to put you over. I say so-called kid because his wife was in a prior relationship, had a child with that man. And Ospreay has raised that kid like his own. Mm-hmm. And then he says, but I have a feeling that after the conversation I had with your wife tonight, the next kid she has won't be yours either.
Wow.
So Ospreay turns and says, Shivani, you have Tony Khan in your ear. Yes. Shivani confirms. He says, well, how much is the fine if I go after and attack MJF? So Shivani says, it's 100,000 pounds sterling, about $123,000 US, I think.
Yeah.
So Ospreay deliberates. It's the word of the day. Couple seconds, goes, worth it. Clobbers MJF. There's security in the ring. They try to separate him. Ospreay fights him off. Security pulls him back. So they're basically just holding him back. MJF punches him with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And then for some reason, security just teleports out.
Yeah.
Because Ospreay's there. He's busted open. And MJF just hits him with the Brain Buster. Covers. Counts his own pinfall. And then sets up for a Tiger Driver. And then Christopher Daniels comes back with security and breaks that up.
I love that the crowd then got totally distracted by Christopher Daniels and just started chanting "Fallen Angel."
I know.
That made me laugh.
I know.
Yeah, again, thought it was good. Go home math is kind of obvious, but we all know Ospreay like from day one. Okay, this is what they're gonna do. He's gonna win. After that, we had a Hangman Page interview. This was awesome. So Renee's like, he says, I did what I had to do this Sunday, and I'm in the casino gauntlet. Let me say, if you stand between me and our world champion, I'll run you over. Matter of fact, and Evil Uno's walking by. He's like, Uno, come here, my old friend. He says, you've heard about the casino gauntlet. Do you know anyone in the match? And Uno's like, yeah, I'm in it. I can't wait. It's going to be... Meanwhile, in the background, Page is getting a chair. And he just completely annihilates him with it. And he says, let me say this again. If you're in my way, I will run you over because there's nothing I want more in this life than to make this joy and happiness go up in smoke.
Oh, make his joy and happiness go up in smoke.
Doug, yeah. Oh, man, I thought that was great. Poor Evil Uno. He's like, oh, yeah, Tony Khan said I could be in the scene. And Paige is in the background with a chair.
Whoop.
That was good. Yeah, I love Paige.
Yeah. Yeah, Hangman is doing some incredible work right now. Then we got Claudio Castagnoli taking on Kazuchika Okada. Continental title bout means it was 20-minute time limit. It did, in fact, go to that time limit, but what we got for those 20 minutes was pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good, man. Yeah, this is good stuff here.
And I like the desperation Claudio kind of had. So I think Bobby Cruz was doing the ring announcing. And so about a minute left, he said, minute left in the match. And let's see. And so Okada's looking for a backslide. Claudio kicks out of that. Okada's looking for a rainmaker. Claudio ducks it, hits this massive pop-up uppercut. Okada is tumbling out of the ring, but then his feet kind of keep him from falling out of the ring because they're kind of supported against the bottom rope. So Claudio brings it back in, hits a double stomp, gets a 2. So when Okada kicks out, he's rolling. He's trying to get to the ropes, get out of bounds so he can't get covered again. And Claudio's desperately trying to turn him over for a pin. Time runs out.
Yeah, sorry, Claudio. Yeah, it was a really good match, though. Really good stuff.
It was.
So is Okada not going to be at All In? They should run it back.
Okada might be in the gauntlet match. I don't know.
Yeah, I think was it Meltzer or Sean Ross Sapp? Somebody said I think it was Sean Ross Sapp said they're really going to load that up. Obviously with Hangman there, Orange Cassidy,
maybe it's Trevor Ricochet Man.
Could be Trevor Ricochet Man there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the Young Bucks and Jack Perry, they walk down the ramp. Nick is saying, "Oh, phenomenal match! Congratulations, both of you! Congrats to Okada for winning and retaining. Sorry, didn't win for retaining." And Matt says, "Hey, crowd. Do you want to see this match go for 5 more minutes?" So of course, they cheer. Who doesn't want to see the match go for 5 more minutes?
Yeah, it was great.
Says, not going to happen.
Oh.
Contract states Okada only has to wrestle for a maximum of 20 minutes, not 25. We are EVPs, so we're sticklers for the rules. Great effort, Claudio. Maybe next time. Now you need to get out of the ring. Or if you're not going to, we're going to physically remove you. So Claudio's kind of priming to fight. Darby's music hits. He makes his entrance. We have the Elite taking on Darby and FTR. Starts with a brawl all around ringside, and Claudio and Okada kind of fight towards the back. So maybe Claudio and Okada will be in this Casino Gauntlet match.
That could be cool, yeah.
And then they'll take their fight out of the ring, so neither of them play a role on the finish of the match.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Hangman wins.
Okay, so I'm trying to think how that works, because, like, let's say they get their hands on each other. Like, Okada is in the match. He beats whoever, Orange Cassidy or whatever.
Well, here's
Claudio
the thing.
Comes out.
It's not like a gauntlet match where you beat one person, the other person comes in. It's the time thing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And it keeps going until there's a pinfall.
Yeah. So, like, there could be, like, 6 people in there, and then Claudio and Okada. Well, 1,000, no, there's not enough room for that. It has to take place in the ring.
Well, the finish does. But
there's not 1,000 people on the roster.
Pretty close, though.
It is pretty close.
So FTR and Darby get the win here. Matt eats so FTR hits Jack Perry with a Shatter Machine, and then Matt eats a Powerplex. Darby falls with the coffin drop to get the win. The Elite flee through the crowd, and the Acclaimed. Man, remember they used to get the loudest reaction on the show?
Yep.
muted reaction.
Yeah. Caster just talks.
Yeah. Why doesn't Bowens do most of the talking?
Oh, dude, free Bowens. He's checked out. That guy's like, this sucks. I don't want to be here. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm just projecting. But
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Bowens is so good.
He is
at
really
everything.
good
At everything.
And they're not giving him. Yeah.
So Caster says he just makes some joke about FTR and the Young Bucks. Not a terribly good one. Says you're looking at the kings of tag team wrestling right here. Says you two are considered the greatest teams in our sport, yet neither of you could beat us in the last week. This weekend will be no difference, and the kings will get crowned when we win the titles. Bowen says we got nothing left to prove. You can't beat the Acclaimed, and on Sunday we're gonna fight till we're the next tag champs. That's kind of it.
Yeah. And then we had Will Ospreay's backstage, bleeding. And Renee's like, what's your status? The Danielson steps in, and he says, look at me. Do it. I don't know. I think he just means a Tiger Driver.
He means Tiger Driver, yeah.
He should drop Max like 3 of them. It's like, oh, business is open now,
I know.
Tiger Driver fans are eating good.
The guy I nearly ended his career with this move has given me his blessing to do it. So
then I'm going to do it all day. I'm going to spam that button.
Opening bell, Tiger Driver.
Yeah. Lock up, put his head down there, Tiger Driver.
Exactly.
Tiger Driver.
And then we had our main event segment, Swerve, Danielson, the final showdown. So Nigel is hosting this.
He's so cartoonish. It's awesome.
Oh, he is. He is. So he introduces Swerve. Swerve comes to the ring, and he asks him, how you feeling going into All In as the overwhelming favorite?
How does it feel to be the overwhelming favorite?
He spends like 45 seconds really putting Swerve over.
Yeah.
Swerve says, as I've already said, the most dangerous man here. It's not just because, well, actually it is. I like to, because of the pain I will endure and inflict. It's also because of the people I've defeated to get to and keep this title. Hangman twice, Jay White, Takeshita, Samoa Joe, Claudio, Christian Cage, the man who put Bryan's neck in jeopardy, Will Ospreay. He says, I'm going to dissect you, Bryan, at All In. I'm going to do it menacingly and scientifically. Says, I appreciate you're a generational legend. Still can't help but feel disrespected by you because I see these clips of you talking about how you're ready for retirement, ready to be a family man. So that's what pisses me off. That's a slap in the face to your world champion because you're trying to take this from me. You're trying to take this moment from me, but you're not going to. I'm going to do something to you to make sure you're not capable of getting back in the ring at All In. And if by some act of God you find that you're able to revive your body after I decimate you at All In, if you get that itch, if the American Dragon wakes up and wants to get back in the ring and do it again, and maybe you'll do it at an indie show in Washington, but I'm going to be there to beat you down. Maybe you want to wrestle in Arena, Mexico. Well, I'll be there to beat you down. Or maybe you get to the point where you just get the feeling, where you're just ready to sit down and have this conversation with your family about getting back in the ring again. Guess where I'm going to be? With the idea that he's going to show up at Danielson's house and beat him down.
He wants in on that conversation.
I guess so. He's going to be like, I don't think it's a good idea, Bryan.
He's like, are you guys door dashing? What are you doing for dinner? What's the dinner situation here?
Exactly.
We're going to eat, and then we're going to fight.
And then so Bryan Danielson rushes down the ring, hits Swerve with a knee plus. So Swerve tumbles to the floor. Danielson says, maybe you're confused. I don't come out here for 20 minutes and talk about myself, but I know the truth. I know who I am. I know a lot of people say it like as a catchphrase, but this is the truth. I'm the best fucking wrestler in the world. And I have been for the last 20 years. So you think you could say that you're going to retire me in front of my daughter, in front of my family this Sunday at Wembley, in front of the fans who paid to see me for the last 25 years, to my peers in the back who have traveled the road with, in front of my family, my wife, my son, my daughter. You're going to have to do more than cripple me. You have to damn near kill me because I'm going to leave my soul in this ring. Tonight, there's been a lot of talking, a lot of fighting. There's only one question left. Can Bryan Danielson, the American fucking Dragon, beat Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship? Of course, crowd's doing the yes chant. So he says, they know the answer, and you know the answer, and so he starts leading the yes chant. The show goes off the air.
Maybe, maybe he's going to show up in Berlin And all the clues are you're doing the yes chant, the WWE retirement shirt. He's going back to the Fed. He knows where the good stuff is, Larson.
Wow.
No.
He's going to leave where the best wrestle and go to
where the even bester wrestle. Yeah.
The best entertain.
Or the best entertain. Oh, boy. We're going to get in trouble. Here we go. Let's answer some questions. Let's
answer some questions. Hey, if you haven't liked this video, please hit that like button. We got well over 400 people watching right now. Just hit the like button. It takes half a second, please.
Please hit the like button. If you're listening in the audio realm, too, it helps a lot for you guys to leave us a 5-star rating. You can channel your inner Dave Meltzer and give us a 5-star rating. It actually does help the show quite a bit. Leave us a comment, a review, whatever they have there on the audio podcast, please. And thank you. Mike Robb says, can Larson power rank his disdain for the following? CM Punk, Cody, and Chris Jericho. And go.
So the only name on that list whose work I actively dislike is Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho, number one disdain.
I don't want him on my TV.
Yeah.
I really don't want to hear his podcast.
God damn.
If he were to go away for a while, I'd be totally cool with it.
Okay. Who do you disdain the second?
I don't disdain anybody else. I don't even disdain's a strong word. I dislike Chris Jericho's work.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
You disdain.
Disdain's a strong word.
Is it?
I mean, Chris Jericho's work right now, that's if I didn't do this for a living, watching wrestling, I'd probably turn off Dynamite or mute it while he was on so I didn't have to hear him talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just not into Chris Jericho. Not.
All right. And then
I don't care. I don't mind it, but I don't care for melodramatic Cody. Sarcastic Cody, I like sarcastic Cody. Melodramatic Cody, not into it so much. I have no issue with CM Punk's work. None.
Okay. All right.
Why do you give me that? Why do you make that face?
There's no face. It's just my face, man.
No, this was the face.
That's like a fart face. I didn't make that face. I
didn't hear any farts, so definitely was it related to something I said. You did it again. No fart sound.
No, that was like I'm hungry.
No, I know you're hungry face. That ain't it.
Can you show me my hungry face? No, that's my Lacey's talking face.
Oh my gosh.
She doesn't watch the show. It's okay.
Oh, wow.
Dave Matushek says, with the Hulk Hogan biopic starring Chris Hemsworth thankfully canceled, what wrestler should the latter play instead? Oh, who should Chris Hemsworth play
what
instead?
other wrestler should he?
Yeah.
By the way, everybody, happy Fuck Hulk Hogan Day.
Boy, oh boy, they're doubling up on the Fuck Hulk Hogan days. Used to be 365 of them a year. These days it's 700 and whatever.
730. Yeah, 730. It's twice 365, right?
You're right, it is. Yeah. Because 350 plus 30, yeah.
Yeah. So happy Fuck Hulk Hogan Day, everybody. What wrestler should Chris Hemsworth play? Sid.
Oh, that's not bad. I was going to say they should do a Ric Flair multiverse movie where him and the guy, he plays Ric Flair, but the guy from Iron Claw plays Ric Flair also. And then they get Will Ferrell for. Whoa! And then they get Will Ferrell from Eastbound and Down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they should do.
It's like Todd Haynes' Bob Dylan movie where you just have different actors play the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Same role, yeah.
People are saying Triple H, the game.
Mm.
Michael P.S. Hayes. That's a really flattering portrayal of Michael Hayes. Honestly, it should be. What is the dude from? Who's Kenny Powers? Danny.
Oh, Danny McBride. Yeah,
McBride.
Yeah.
He should be Michael Hayes.
Yeah, I could see that.
That'd be kind of cool. The Righteous Gemstones people do Freebirds documentary, not document biopic. That'd
be interesting. That'd be interesting. Let's see here. Gregory Mullen says, not really an AEW question, but going to be a first-time father here in a few weeks. Advice.
Oh yeah.
We've gotten this question before. First of all, congratulations.
Congratulations. You're going to
It's an
love
exciting
it.
time.
You'll have a great time.
You know, in a very general sense.
Just say the baby wipes thing that you always say.
That's what I was going to say. You got to bring the baby wipes everywhere because you don't want to come unprepared for any scenario that might arise.
You might have an explosive blowout situation.
Have them in the
Or
diaper bag.
Yeah.
Have them in the car.
Yeah.
Make sure there's a redundancy when it comes to the baby wipes because you will need them.
Just and
in
then
a very
I always
practical sense. That's my advice.
I always go very broad then, and I say, kids want the very basic things. They want validation. They want love. They want to know that they're safe and they're protected. Be patient with them. Don't get angry at kids. Understand they need love and patience and understanding. And if you understand that stuff, then you're good to go. Use your parental instincts. They'll help you. Tequila Mockingturd says, my fantasy wrestling league is doing our annual draft this Sunday. Which AEW wrestlers do you predict to have win the most matches this year? AEW wrestlers that have the biggest winning streak. Okada for sure.
Okada doesn't wrestle very often, though.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
you want someone like Darby. Darby's on all the shows. He wins most of his matches.
He's about to lose, though.
I know. I'm just saying. I didn't necessarily mean Darby specifically. Like for a while, it was Jack Perry. He wrestled on all the shows.
Can you do tag teams? FTR wins like every week on Collision, I think.
Yeah.
In my head, anyways, they do.
Yeah.
Don't pick them as singles wrestlers, though.
No, losing single wrestlers. So that'd be my advice. Like Ospreay's a good pick. He doesn't wrestle all the time on TV. He wrestles fairly.
That's a good point.
Regularly, and he's going to win more often than not.
That's a good point. I'd say Orange Cassidy's a good pick too. He wrestles quite a bit.
Yeah,
I think he had like the most matches in or he was like the quickest to have the most matches in AEW, something like that.
Yeah. Creamy Beef Tip says, which stipulation match would you rather see? A strap match, but the strap is one giant piece of cooked spaghetti, or Hell in a Cell, but you can only use breakfast items to beat up your opponent with, and the cell is made from a giant waffle.
The waffle cell. That sounds cool.
Giant waffle sounds delicious.
The other thing, the cooked spaghetti just
I'd incapacitate my opponent just so I could eat through the waffle cell.
I'm going to climb and eat my way so like they can't climb behind me because I've already ate it.
Okay. That's going to mess with the constitution of the cell itself, though, will it not?
It's going to collapse under my eating.
Yeah. And you just collapse with this giant pile of wonderful waffle.
Yeah. Proceratop says, I'm getting married tomorrow. Sucker.
Congratulations.
Any advice for pre-wedding jitters? I'll give you the advice that Klingon Commander Krug gave his crew when they went over to the Enterprise and he realized that the auto self-destruct was set.
Oh, my gosh.
Get out of there!
Oh, my goodness.
That's my advice.
I don't remember if I had any jitters, but also we all took a shot of tequila when we were getting ready. So
yeah, me and Jeff got faded in the green room before. Well, showed that little documentary about me and Lacey, that self-indulgent movie that we did. Yeah, we had a couple of shots back there. Jeff had like a flask or something.
Yeah.
So drinking is always good. As long as you got that strong prenup in place, then you got nothing to be worried about.
Wow.
I'm joking. I love being married. It's great. My spirit animal is a Dorito. It says, what's one piece of advice you'd go back and give your preteen self? Preteen. Wow, that's young. 12-year-old Steve.
Oh, I'd probably say keep playing baseball.
Okay.
Because after, like 7th grade, I stopped playing organized baseball. Stopped. So I'd say just keep playing.
Would you be like, hey, baby Larson, try some HGH? You really want to ball these fools up?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Just slamming that ball out of the park. It'd be crazy. 12-year-old just killing that ball.
Hit 400-foot bombs. 400-yard bombs would be more impressive.
My God. Look at that kid's forearms.
They're larger than his head.
Why is this?
Which is also very large.
Yeah, why is his forehead so huge? I would baseball for me would be basketball. That'd be a good one. Because I kind of wish that I played like for my high school team.
Yeah.
What advice would I give? I don't know. I ended up pretty good. I'm pretty happy. accomplish everything I want to accomplish, I think.
Nikyle here says, what match on the All In card do you potentially see have a shocking, unexpected winner?
I mean, given the go-home math, I'd be kind of surprised if... I mean, Tony Storm and Ryan May is kind of out there. I don't know about that one. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know about that one either.
A shocking outcome. Shock the system. I guess the main event. Because I don't know how that's going to go down.
Yeah,
I'll be kind of shocked anyway it goes down.
Oh, Sebastian Garcia has a great question. What would your strategy be in a strap match against each other? I would have it hidden somewhere in the contract that Steve couldn't blast me with the strap.
Oh, wow. And if I do, they ring the bell.
I'm the winner.
You're the winner. Okay, that's good. I don't read the fine print, so you'd probably be pretty smart doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'd probably wipe my butt with the strap because you're a big germaphobe guy.
There you go.
And you'd be like, "Oh, I can't touch that." I'm just I would use your disgust and shock and horror to just run and do the, doom, 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 doom.
Four corners, yeah.
The winner. Like, get me
There's
out of
also
here.
a lot of strap. There's like 8 feet of strap, so I mean, you can't wipe your butt on all of it.
Why not?
It's not in your possession before the match, is it?
It will be. I'll have it written in my contract.
Oh wow.
I get
See,
24 hours.
Print,
I get 24 hours with the strap.
It's like a Monsters Ball match. You get 24 hours alone.
Yeah,
in
right.
a dark room with the strap.
You're like, my God, man, what did you do to the strap? You don't want to know.
Oh no. Luis says, what food restaurant chain would you like to see open in California or Sacramento area?
White Castle. And Waffle House.
Yeah, Waffle House would be cool.
Joe the Meme Maker says, I'm interested to know, with multiple British references from Ospreay last night, as Americans, does a promo seem weaker to you if you don't get the reference and it's sometimes fan service? No, I mean, just because it doesn't pop me doesn't mean I don't recognize that it's a locality thing.
Did you get the reference? Was it Barry Scott?
No, I didn't. I was not aware of that one.
That was one of them. There's another one about a BBC show you made a reference to.
Yeah, no, I didn't get either. I'm sort of behind on my BBC knowledge. If he made like an EastEnders reference,
there you go.
Probably get that, or Bottom, maybe, or the Young Ones. The Young Ones. Yeah. Bottom was like the follow up to
that. Donald Seaman here says, or Seaman says, does AEW overuse time limit draws? FTR this year alone has tied 3 times. It longer feels special.
Evidently, I didn't know about that. So yeah,
that's on Collision. That's not canon as far as I'm concerned. So
that's a good point. Yeah,
it's I don't mind it.
It's like AEW fanfic.
Yeah, kind of.
Is Collision? Yeah,
it's extended universe.
Extended universe. Oh man, yeah. That's all the questions I have over here.
All right, I got a couple more here. Peter Brontis, our G1 winner. Congratulations, Peter.
Peter Brontis.
Brontosaurus. Says, if Hangman loses the gauntlet, who wins? Peter says, personally, I'd like to see Mox win, face Bryan at All Out, with Hangman and Swerve having a lights out, and down the road getting another Mox Hangman feud, hopefully over a title. Yeah, Mox isn't a bad call either.
That's interesting. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. And then Weston Gibbon Music says, if Bryan wins, what's next? I know that's broad, but I have so many questions. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how long you expect his reign to be, and if you think will perpetually be on the line, potentially Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan title for title in the Dome. I've thought about, since they're going to have Zack Sabre Jr. cash in his G1 contract at King of Pro Wrestling, I think. He'll probably win there. He'll walk into Royal Quest champion. But to do that, you got to think there's a huge name they have lined up for him to face at Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom. Danielson is one of the names that popped in my head. It's not going to be title for title.
Yeah, right. I don't think they would do that. Yeah.
But I think they're 1-1 each in their series. So if they're going to have a rubber match and it's the main event at Tokyo Dome. Could be.
Yeah, that could be. Zach would win that.
Yeah, Zach would win that. Yeah.
Unless like Bryan decides to cut a Brock schedule with New Japan. I don't think that would happen.
Because they're doing a kind of Forbidden Door themed show in Japan, like the day after Wrestle Kingdom, right?
It's like Ring of Honor, Noah, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. Anyways, my dog's stirring over here. So that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Tomorrow, what is tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow evening, of course, we'll be back for our SmackDown review.
Yep.
And tomorrow, first thing in the morning, I think we've got a count out going up. And then, of course, we'll be live for, All In on Sunday. So that's our schedule for the next coming days. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.